Welcome back, and today in this video we're going to be discussing Ted Hughes, the thought fox. Ted Hughes is widely acknowledged as a nature poet as well as an animal poet. In his poem The Thought Fox, he depicts the artistic inspiration that leads a person to create a work of art. The Thought Fox is one of his animal poems compiled in his collection The Hawk in the Rain. The poem is about the process of producing a work of art. The speaker sits alone in the darkness of midnight. In the poem, we find that the speaker is sitting alone in the darkness of midnight with a blank page before him. He completely empties his mind from the worries of the world and gives way to his consciousness. In this poem, The Thought Fox, the poet talks about how a person needs to empty his mind completely, free from all the thoughts about the world and free from all the distractions, and surrender himself completely to the work of creativity, inspiration, and artistic enlightenment. According to this poem, when the poet composes his poem, he completely empties his mind like a blank page and shuts himself from the sights of the world and the sounds of the world and the distractions around him, and opens his mind to his imagination. According to the poet, according to the speaker, only in such total concentration can the brilliance of creative art or composing poems take control over a person, so that he would be able to create or bring out a masterpiece. Where there is disturbance and distractions or half-hearted interest, pure thoughts or distinctive inspiration cannot exist. But as Ted Hughes writes in his poem, a thought is like a cunning fox that requires total submission, total separation from distractions and disturbances. The speaker begins first by getting his mind ready, by immersing himself into the imagination. As the poet writes, I imagine this midnight moment forests. He is in solitude, all alone in his room, no sound that he could hear except the ticking of the clock. No sight to see in the total darkness of midnight, as it was a starless night. He has a blank page before him on which he was beginning to scribble or write as he fell deeper into his lonely darkness imagination. The speaker senses the presence of a fox as he meditates into the darkness, as he meditates into the emptiness of that midnight. He senses the presence of a fox with its cold nose in the snow. The movement of the fox sets prints on the snow. The poet describes and compares the movement of thoughts to be like the movement of a fox. The brilliant, quick, calculated moves of a cunning fox. How thoughts and inspirations creep into the minds of an artist in the most unaware and unexpected moment. This particular idea is very relatable because sometimes, out of nowhere, when everyone is talking about something or the other, some kind of inspiration strikes your mind. And if we don't think about it carefully, or if we don't write it down, or we don't concentrate enough, that thought vanishes quickly like a cunning fox disappearing into the forest. So the poet or speaker sits still all alone in the corner, away from all the distractions, and when that thought or inspiration strikes his mind, he pens it down, he writes it down, so that it will be forever imprinted, or so that the inspiration or the thought will be passed on to the people who reads it. And as the poem ends, we find that the poet or the speaker still sits there. Outside it is still dark and starless, and the clock still continues to tick by. Everything remains the same, but the only thing that is not same is the blank page in front of him, which is not blank anymore. It has been printed, and printed by the thought that came to the poet's mind like a cunning fox. The thought that was inspired in the midnight moment. So here, as we find, thought or inspiration or artistic creativity is metaphorically compared to the movements, appearance, and behavior of an animal fox. That was a short poem by Ted Hughes in which he compares the animal fox to the artistic inspiration of a creator or an artist. That brings us to the end. I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.